How are you all today? I'm a concerned citizen of the United States of America. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son. I'm a law-abiding, tax-paying, honest citizen. I'm also a pastor of a church. I'm concerned with some of the events that are taking place in our country right now, particularly those after the horrendous events that occurred in both the movie theater and in that school. What a tragedy it is when there's a loss of life like this. My fear is, though, that the politicians on one particular party side or another are using this for their own objective and passing laws and agendas that are really just politically motivated and not anything more or less than that. And so I just wanted to share with you, and perhaps maybe they're concerns of yours as well. My concern is that why the government wants to attempt to pass new laws and legislation that restricts law-abiding, tax-paying, honest citizens like you and me from owning certain types of firearms or firearms in general. I understand the concern for public safety, but it's ironic and sort of an oxymoron to me that we pretend to be concerned, as politicians like to say, but it's absurd to think that we would have the need to train armed people or even unarmed people in our schools. And yet those very same politicians have armed protection, Secret Service. We go to ball games and there's armed police officers there. We go to civic events, and in our courthouse in our city you can't enter it because there's armed guards and they search everyone to make sure you're not armed. And I find that ironic. I don't know that I blame them, but it seems sort of a weird priority to me that it's okay to protect those people that quote unquote are more important than others. To me, our children are our most important asset and gift, and we should protect them. The other part of that is that my concern is that these laws that they're putting in place that would restrict people from owning or obtaining or possessing or operating or firing certain kinds of weapons, the people that would obey these laws are the people that are already obeying laws. It wouldn't be people that are criminals. See, criminals don't obey laws. The no-gun zones are open territories for people that want to do harm to other individuals. They know this, they're aware of this, that there is no potential for armed resistance. They go into the schools, they go into the movie theaters, they go into the shopping malls, they go into these various locations where there are no people with firearms to protect themselves. Rarely, if at all, do these lunatic individuals go to locations where there is a potential for resistance. Maybe there's some logic to that. Maybe there's some intellect to that. Maybe there's something we could learn from that. But instead of addressing that, the politicians want to say, we want to take firearms away from law-abiding, tax-paying, voting citizens. The Second Amendment of the Constitution guarantees that we have the right to keep and to bear arms. Now they want to try to tweak things a little bit and add some stuff to it so they know what guns you have and what guns you don't have, and even suggesting a national registry and grandfathering the guns that maybe you have had for a very long time or have been passed on to you or you'd like to pass on to your children. Think about it for a moment. The government knowing what you do and do not own. Pretty scary to me. Another issue that is not really talked about much is the issue of mental illness and violence in our society. We recently have had discussions about this, but I see very little movement in the political arena. Really what we see is to talk about gun control, gun control, gun control, gun control. And what about mental illness and mental illness and mental illness? And what about our violence in our movies and our music industry and our video games? And what about those issues? Another issue that nobody talks about is the recidivism rate and the liberalism idea of treating criminals as if they have the need to be pampered and catered to and cared for. And and nurtured. Violence and violent people do not understand these type of things. I know we're supposed to be a civilized society, but the violence is perpetrated towards another human being. They don't understand, and they don't care, and they don't logically reason with things like, let's all have a big hug. And so we have this very liberal approach to our criminal justice system. It's, again, what a ironic terminology. But so what we do is we arrest people, we throw them in jail, and they stay for a relatively short period of time. There's numerous cases all across this nation where people murder other people, or rape, or perpetrate violent crimes towards another individual, where there's either a loss of life or loss of welfare. In some cases, many lives are lost, and then individuals get a relatively short sentence. There was recently an individual that had murdered someone, killed someone with a firearm, and they were out in 8 years. Meanwhile, this family has no loved one. They're deceased. They're buried, and these people struggle with the loss of a loved one. And this individual, out after a very, very short period of time, in my opinion, is back out on the streets. Now, we can hope they're rehabilitated, but this is just nonsense in my opinion. But instead of addressing these issues, what we want to do, we want to tax, and we want to increase more laws, and we want more government in our lives, and we want to do all kinds of silly things that really aren't addressing the issue of crime, violence, lack of morality, lack of neighborly concern and love for other people. Maybe you've had enough of this too. I'm just tired of the chit-chat, maybe hoping this would go a little viral so other individuals would begin to feel inspired and encouraged to voice their opinion as well. Believe it or not, we elect these officials, and they are supposed to answer to us and not us to them. And I know it's been reversed for a long time, that they treat us as if we're their servants, but they are servants of the people. And currently in the United States, we have the ability to decide who serves us and who does not. I urge you to write your congressmen, your senators, your national, your state, your local representatives, and let them know how you feel. We're all concerned about what's taking place in our country. We're all concerned about the violence against children in particular. How terrible and tragic such a thing is. I think it's equally tragic that instead of addressing the real issues with meaningful, tangible, and viable discussions that are within hopes of creating some ways to effectively reach these areas that need vast improvement, we discuss silly little political agendas. And you see all these people on the left that want to just be gun grabbers, and nobody's addressing the issue of violent crime in a real way. We need to begin to discuss this intelligently. Common sense tells us that a crackhead or a mentally deranged individual isn't going to pay attention to the no-gun zone law. I am. I'm a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to have a criminal record. But a criminal doesn't care. They already have a criminal record. They're already deranged. They already want to perform harm to another individual. They do not care if there's another law or 2 other laws or 100 laws. They're meant to go out and do harm. We need to think about, discuss, and put in place laws that will protect the people, not the criminals. I'm checking out for now.